Welcome back, FPL Banter podcast. I've got myself, Mopey. We are here with Swabbers.
How's it going?
And Woody.
Hello.
It's a special triple captain game week. Double game week came in with Alex, DCL. Talk us through it.
I mean, straight in there, pulling right in there, just exposing the wound.
Haven't you guys? I mean, there is this curse that we keep on talking about of the triple captain.
It is a curse. It's true.
And then if you look at any of the fixtures, you look at Southampton, you look at West Bromwich Albion, you're thinking, if DCL's going to score, he's going to score against these guys, but yet doesn't do anything, doesn't show up at all. And then but actually, you know what? I was debating between DCL and Fernandez, and to be fair, Fernandez didn't deliver either. So he just delivered the tiny.
It's two cleanies.
Yeah, it's two cleanies. I would have had an extra 6 points, I guess, if my maths is correct. An extra 6 points.
Yeah.
Which would have taken me up, which would have got me slightly closer to the average. I got about 53, I think. I can't even look at my points.
Yeah, you mean slightly closer to the average?
Yeah.
But the average
still well below.
Slightly
closer. Yeah. It's still miles away. It's like saying if I jump, I'm slightly closer to the moon.
Yeah, exactly. That is actually the exact distance I was thinking about.
But yeah, no, it's a horrendous week, but not for everyone. Apparently, if the average is 75, I guess.
Yeah, no, really high average. Yeah, that's incredible, isn't it? It's really.
It's got to be one of the highest. I've never seen it that high. Not that it matters because we came in with 92. Were you worried about?
Bingo, bango, bongo.
Yeah, that was good. No, we did well, and we triple captained as well.
We did. So we did triple captain, but it was a bit of a waste. I mean,
it's Fernandez.
18 points. Yeah. I mean, it made sense, but yeah, maybe we should have gone Digne.
Oh, yeah. I mean, we did talk about Digne, right? Digne was the right option.
Yeah. Nah, it was between Kane and Fernandez. I think who voted Kane and we talked them down? I think it was Alex, wasn't it? You wanted Kane, didn't you?
I'm a big Kane supporter. You know what? I do like him, which is why I'm livid this week. But don't worry, that's to come. But yeah.
But yeah, so big takeaways from this game week. What do you think of I think the biggest thing is that Liverpool. What's going on with Liverpool? Really? No one really showing up. Should you get rid of your Liverpool players, or should you give them another shot? I mean, they're playing Fulham, right, this game week. So
yeah, I mean, and it was a close game. Like Liverpool had their chances, and obviously another controversial handball, which Wits doesn't think is at all controversial, or a controversial non-handball, which should have been handball. And it was a close game. Could have gone either way. Bit of a cliche, but other big things moving forward from this game week. Leicester without Maddison and Barnes just look like they're hanging on. Like, you know, they played very defensive against Burnley, and they were kind of lucky to come away with a point, to be honest.
And that's another thing. Sorry to pile on and to add to my downfall, but like many people, I brought Barnes in because Grealish was injured. And look what happens to him. Gets injured. Yeah. Great.
What about Aina?
And then another one to add insult to injury.
Had a great week.
So I got Aina in because I was like, Crystal Palace, game week 29, should be good. So then I'm watching the other game, and then I see like 0-0, ends 0-0, Crystal Palace Fulham. I'm like, cheeky 6-pointer. So I'm just going to go check my putt. And Aina got subbed off at halftime.
You were like, no way, no.
Yeah. Oh. So I found out last night that apparently in Mourinho's first game, he subbed 2 players off at 26 minutes.
His first game at Spurs, or his first game
at Chelsea in the Premier League. First game in the Premier League. So. Wow. And that was really controversial. But I think they maybe ended up winning that game. But whatever. Subbing off arguably the best player in the team at halftime is weird, especially because he wasn't injured, because he played the second game, didn't he? In which they lost, so it didn't matter anymore.
Are you saying changing the shape?
Are you arguing that Aina is the best player at Fulham?
Well, according to the BPS system, my friend, I think it is. He is.
I mean, okay.
From the Fulham players, yeah. He's consistently
who's better?
Okay, but
I mean, anyway, that aside, he did have a knock. He came off because he had a knock.
Okay, but fine. I thought it was tactical change.
I'm pretty sure he had a knock, which maybe led to a tactical change. But I think he was feeling something, but obviously it was nothing major. Was my
I feel like Scott Parker's overdressed for the Premier League.
But he's a Cockney lad, mate. He's got to go out on a whistle every Friday and Saturday night, isn't he?
I reckon he wears one of those Baker Boy hats. You know what I mean?
No,
I
don't know it.
You do.
The caps?
Yeah. Like
caps?
the ones you see in Peaky Blinders. You know those ones?
Yeah.
He'd definitely wear one of those.
Yeah.
And he'd be the voice of reason in the pub when it starts to kick off. Down with that?
Calm down, lads. Calm down, yeah. Right. Other big news. Villa double game week without Grealish. Looked a bit rubbish. I don't know how they beat Leicester, but they did. Leeds, but they managed to.
They lost to Sheffield United.
They lost to Sheffield United. Yeah. 10 men, Sheffield United as well. But, I mean, it's not like they didn't have their chances. I think it was just one of those days. Who else?
The Chelsea defense, robust.
Yeah. Chelsea defense is looking pretty good, to be fair.
Yeah.
But again,
their forwards.
Is this still a tombola? Are we going to downgrade the tombola? Or do you still think?
I think we're downgrading it.
I think it is, but I think it may become a bit more predictable, as I mentioned to you boys before we started recording. I think I may have seen a pattern with the fullbacks in that he seems to tend to play Reece James and Chilwell when they're playing, should we say, better teams, like top half teams with more of an attacking threat. So he also wants to play 5 at the back more. But then when he plays bottom half teams with perhaps less of an attacking threat, seems to play Hudson-Odoi and Alonso. So I definitely think it's worth getting them, but just expecting that, if they're playing United, you're probably going to see Chilwell and James.
And I mean, and as well, what I feel we should point out as well is the City versus Wolves game. I personally think that was quite complimentary scoreline for City.
It was, yeah.
Because it was quite contentious, and then they just lost it towards the end, really, unfortunately for Wolves.
Yeah, once they knew they were going to lose the game, then it was like, you sort of fold a bit, don't you? Which happens a lot in
But
City
you say that, but I mean,
lines.
Wolves got one shot on target, which they scored, to be fair. Connor Cody, apparently, a little bit of a piece of information for you, Woody. Connor Cody, first shot on target in his life in the Premier League, goal.
I don't believe that is true, because I'm pretty sure he got a goal in the Premier League in 2018.
You'll have to check it right now and get back to me. Anyway, I wouldn't say, I do see what you guys are saying, but I also think Man City were in control of that game the whole game and definitely deserved to win. And they had a ridiculous amount of shots and all that. The fact that it could have been more.
But Wolves were a threat. I mean, but bear in mind,
I think the question isn't are Man City good? The question is who do you buy? Because everyone's got 3.
Yeah, it's true.
All right.
Yeah.
So, with KDB back and now the Gundo owner is wondering what to do.
What would you do?
What's the problem?
As a Gundo owner?
Well, this is the thing.
I'd say keep him a little bit, because as you guys are, we'll get to it when we're talking about our team. You guys don't think that KDB will play both in the upcoming double game week, which means that Gundo presumably will be playing at least one of them. If it's not one, it's the other. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, I do think Gundo only got 15 minutes, 20 minutes, or whatever.
Yeah,
and he almost scored. Do you know what though? For all the listeners out there that play FPL with people that are kind of snakes. Well, I think these 2 guys that I'm talking to right now are snakes because they both own KDB and they keep telling me not to get him. I'm getting a bit worried. I feel like this is like conspiracy theory. So I would say get KDB this week. But anyway, we'll talk about that.
I would also say get KDB. But
hey, hang on a minute ago, you said he only played 1 game and he'll probably get 2 points.
Yeah, but I don't want to get him. So
right. Well, in that case, shall we move on to the team of the week?
I guess so. Yeah, we can move on.
Yeah.
Okay. So team of the week, it is 100 million budget, and you get on a wild card. So our team of the week this week is a 3-5-2. And before anyone says it, yes, we wanted to get Vestergaard, but we got vetoed by Woody. So Woody, do you want to take us through your average defense then?
Before anyone asks, I don't think anybody's getting Vestergaard.
The Vestergaard fans out there.
I suppose we should mention, it is a double game week for City and Southampton. Which basically means it's double game week for City. And -3 points for everyone at Southampton, plus a game. So if you were thinking of playing your wild card or some kind of chip to get City or Southampton players, I guess you can. But so for the team, we're going with a 3-5-2. At the back, there was a bit of deliberation on this. We chopped and changed quite a lot, and we've ended up on this. I think it's a best solution. Picking up all sort of the big teams with the easy fixtures. We've gone for Edison in goal, just because there were other candidates like Lloris, Martinez, but it's just the fact that he's got a double game week, and by having him in the sticks, it frees up a City position, or it takes a City player out of the defense, the back three lineup, which we are going with. And he is a good goalkeeper. And to be fair, it's probably quite a good chance of clean sheets. Sorry, Alex, against United and Southampton.
Although you say that, but in his 2 last home fixtures, he got 2 and 2. So you'd be disappointed if you had him.
It's true, but I mean, basically, it's either a defender or the goalkeeper, because we want to get into that City back line with those 2 fixtures. And by putting Edison in goal, it meant we could get other defenders, which, well, I say we, basically I wanted, which is Tierney for Arsenal versus Burnley. I just think that's a pretty good shout over Cleany, and Tierney seems to be back to his best after his calf injury. So I think he's a good shout. Reguilon from obviously Spurs versus Crystal Palace. He was rested in the last game against Fulham, so expecting him to play ahead of Davies, and it's Crystal Palace at home, so clean sheets and assist. And controversial, and this is basically my shout, and I'm still a big fan of him, is Trent Alexander-Arnold, who I still think is playing good football. And Liverpool played well against Sheffield United, were unlucky against Chelsea, to be fair, although he was a bit quiet in that game. But home to Fulham, I still think there's life in the old dog. So
what do you think is wrong with him? I mean, I know there's this talk about him, because of COVID during the summer, et cetera, but does he just not have the drive anymore? Does he not have the kind of will to go forward, or has he been told not to go too forward, or does he just need a rest? Does he just need a proper summer's rest, and he'll be better again next season?
Yep, just needs good conditioning. Maybe he's the kind of player that thrives off the crowd.
Oh yeah, well that's another. What? He never gets a rest. For some reason, Klopp plays him over and over and over, no matter how badly he plays. You know what? Like I was reading about Sergio Aguero, a little bit of a parallel story here, but basically Aguero, when Pep arrived, Aguero didn't do enough defending, so Pep dropped him for 3 weeks in a row, and then he came back and sort of became the Aguero that we all know. And so I just think kind of having the balls as a manager to do that is important. And it feels like Klopp, knowing that there are right backs out there that he refuses to play that are on his team sheet, it's just weird.
Yeah, I mean, I guess maybe Trent it's not like, he never goes and checks the team sheet, right? It's like, oh, am I in this week? Is it me? It's like,
exactly,
he just knows, right?
Exactly.
It's like who am I playing with?
Boots.
Maybe.
Exactly.
It could be a perfect storm of all of that kind of stuff, and it's just
exactly.
Yeah, but I say the last few games he wasn't great against Chelsea, admittedly, but the last few games before that he was looking sharp. So I'm going to take a punt and stick him in, and then so that's the 3 at the back, and then just rounding off the bench, we have Rudiger. I don't think there's any particular reason why we went with Rudiger. Is there, Eric?
Because he's a defensive rock, maybe.
All right. Okay, so he's a defensive rock,
and he's German, and Tuchel loves him.
It's true, and he's a cheap way into the Chelsea defense, and it does get a bit of action from set pieces, I suppose. And Everton do look a little bit shaky. They won their last 2 games, but they do look a little bit, uneven. So yeah, possibly. And then Konsa, it's Villa, very solid at the back, and they're playing home to Wolves, who still sort of lack that cutting edge up front. So and sub goalkeeper is Millier.
Ooh, nice. I think the pronunciation.
Thanks, mate. Been working on it, and I think that's basically just because he's cheap.
So I don't know if we've discussed this before, but how do you become a good goalkeeper in Brazil? Like, how does that happen? Because presumably, you know how it works when you're a kid. Goalkeepers are the worst players because they get the last pick. So it's like, you go and goals, mate. So presumably he was the worst Brazilian player on the pitch who became the best goalkeeper.
Which basically means like they had 11 people and they were all strikers, and he was the worst striker. So he ended up in
exactly.
goal. Yeah.
And you know when people are like, apparently Chris Wilder when he played against Sheffield United, it's like, oh, you know, Edison is so good that he'd probably make my first team on the pitch kind of thing, not as a goalkeeper.
Would, yeah.
First of all, the fact that he like was loving on his opposition too much, that I don't like one bit. Secondly, is he that good, Edison? I mean, on the pitch? I mean,
well, he's done a few assists, haven't he?
Yeah,
but that's just kicking the ball far. That's it.
But he's good on the ball. Like, he's good with his feet. You know, like they play out from the back. He plays as a sweeper a lot. I think he would make a pretty good central defender. And they also, like many times, all there's rumors that he's going to start taking the penos.
The other day he ran up to take one, and then Fernandinho was like, "Mate, wait, go back, go."
Oh, that is ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd love to see it though. Imagine if you had him. God. But you know what the stupid thing is? How many times do goalkeepers score goals in the Premier League? Like 1 every 4 years. It still only gets 6 points for a goal.
Yeah, it's true. That is a bit ridiculous.
It should be like 40.
Yeah,
incentivize it.
It should. It really should. Yeah, honestly.
Do you think FPL could make a change that was like important enough that would actually make the players play differently on the pitch? Like if they said, I don't know, if you score a goal in the 53rd minute specifically, you get 100 points.
Someone running through, stopping and glancing at the clock and like doing a chop, doing another chop. He's got 3 seconds to go, and then
exactly.
Shall I move on to mids? Shall I move on to mids?
Do it, mate.
Yeah, please.
Dab it out.
All right. So as discussed, we've got five playing midfielders. That's our tactic for this game week. And start off with Lingard. I think we're all big fans of Lingard, of his goals, not his goal celebrations.
We always have been. I mean, he's just a quality player, right?
Oh yeah,
not his celebrations.
You've always been Team Lingard.
Yeah.
It's his celebrations, though. I think that put everyone off from him a little bit. They kind of wind me up.
What upset me the most was the fact that he managed to talk everybody else at West Ham to get involved with it.
No. What? So you tell me like Yarmolenko, who looks like a grumpy sort of Russian bloke, he's now doing those Fortnite dances?
Yeah, I reckon.
Oh no.
I don't know if he was in it. I mean, it was, to be fair, I mean, Declan Rice. Look at him. You look at him, you think he's going to be no fun. And there he was playing the drums.
No.
What is this night fort you talk about?
When I was child, my entire family died in one fortnight.
Imagine Yarmolenko's grandparents looking at him doing some sort of like Fortnite dance on the pitch. They'd be like, "What have we done?
Yeah,
how have we got to this?"
Stalin wouldn't put up with that.
They take his faded black and white picture off the timber mantle and toss it into the wood burner.
Oh. Anyway, moving on swiftly to Mount. Mount, Chelsea against Liverpool. He made that goal his own, really. So that was pretty epic.
I think you are riding this Mount wave. I was not for this whole sub. I mean, he's been playing well, but what he always says, past performance is no guarantee of future success or whatever.
No, but no, it's true. And it's not me, that's David Coulthard. But
get it right,
get it right, mate. You know, me. I know you confuse.
I thought
me
it was
David
Mika
Coulthard
Hakkinen,
all the time. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
No. But it's not just about that. Like, yeah, but he has been playing well. But it's the fact that he's been playing well, and he's on set pieces, like most of them. And Chelsea generally as a team are on a team on the way up. So I just think, there's looking at jumping on the bandwagon, but it's not just looking at points. It's not just looking at I don't know. I can't think of an example off the top of my head, but someone who's not playing well, but bagged some points. Oh, actually, no, I can think of one. Remember that week when Trent Alexander-Arnold got 14 points, and like Tal's dad got him, and then he did nothing for 3 weeks. Like,
don't bring that up, mate.
Quick question for you, Woody. I want you to grade this comparison out of 10. Okay. David Coulthard and Thomas Muller.
Not 3 or 4.
What? They're pretty similar looking. David Coulthard looks German.
Not for me.
Oh, okay.
Anyway, back to the team. Then so we have Lingard, Mount, and then we have KDB. So we got a couple of Manchester City. So we've got KDB and we've got Gundo. bit of an internal debate with regards to whether De Bruyne will play both games, i.e. against Manchester United and Southampton. I think we all agree that he'll play against Manchester United, but we're not sure
he's
about
come back
Southampton.
from a lack of match fitness because of his injury and all that. And he's played 2 on the trot. He'll definitely play against United, supposedly. I think we can agree on that. Yeah. So then the question is, does he play against Southampton on Wednesday, given that he's got a game on Saturday, which would make it 5 in a row, right?
Yeah, no, I know. But Pep has always said that if he can play KDB, he's going to play KDB.
Yeah, that's possible.
Yeah, so that's why I'm
get 60 minutes.
And generally, even if I'd say I want to say Southampton's an easy game because that's a bit harsh, but generally Pep's approach to those sorts of games is he starts a strong team. Yeah, and when they go 3-0 up, subs them off rather than a lot of the time you'll see Fernandes coming off the bench or Vardy or Kane coming off the bench, whereas Pep sort of does the other way. So yeah, he will start. He might only play 45 minutes, but in that 45 minutes, he might be the one that got a goal and assist.
Yeah, no, exactly. So that's KDB and Gundo, and then finally we have Son against Crystal Palace. Spurs. Back to his top form, I reckon. Hopefully, with Kane obviously been back a few game weeks. So it should be a good one, high scoring one, hopefully for Son.
Yeah, I mean, Son, he could have, should have, would have had 2 assists in the Fulham game because Kane missed and then Ali. I don't know how they called that an own goal because it travelled about 1.5 yards at speed from blurry angles, and they're like, even like during the game, they're like, yeah, that's an own goal. That was going wide. I don't know what technology they've got, but.
Yeah, it's secretive. It's a bit like VAR. There's no transparency. No one knows what's going on. What? The decision.
Yeah, it's a bit like the fantasy assist. That was a fantasy own goal. Someone in the Premier League was like, mate, I've triple captained. I don't know the guy who scored the own goal. I don't think any sense. I don't know who wins from that scenario. But anyway.
Okay, so. Next. Forwards, we're playing 2 up front, and so just a bit of context on this. I was wanting Vestergaard in the team, and they both laughed at me, and I think that was outrageous because Vestergaard almost got a goal the other day because he gets every header that exists on the pitch, and also he'll play both. Whereas Ingsy, I can see him getting 20 minutes against Sheffield United and getting injured and not playing for 6 weeks. So anyway, he's been thrown in. He's a good player when he's in form. He's playing against Man City away, so that's not going to be great. But against Sheffield United, who are now like, let's get back into this, boys. I don't know. Let's see. So we got Ingsy.
All right. Well, who would you rather have instead of Ings then? And you can't have Vestergaard.
Well, no. You've taken away my only.
Would you rather have Vestergaard or Ings?
Vestergaard.
All right, we'll put Vestergaard in then. We'll go 4-5-1.
No. The team's done now.
So
Ingsy,
we change it.
And
never done
the password, mate. And Antonio, okay, who we can all agree on. Antonio, weirdly, Antonio's one of these guys that just shows up all the time, and I don't know. Does he look like he's going to score goals very often? I mean, he gets
I don't know. It's a difficult one. Yeah, it's a difficult one. He's one of those players that doesn't do much, but he just kind of. When he gets one opportunity, that's all he needs to really put it away.
I mean, the only major trouble with Antonio is he's always injured. Like I was reading something like,
or tired.
He hasn't finished more than 25 games in a season for the last 6 years or something. Yeah. So, because like you say, when he plays, he shows up. He gets goals and assists. And he's a threat and stuff. But then he's off for 3 weeks. So get him while he's hot, basically.
What I do like about Antonio, I feel he's a really respectful guy. Like when he gets subbed off, he's like, "Thanks, boss, for giving me the opportunity. I appreciate it." Whereas Salah, did you see him kicking bottles and stuff last night?
Yeah, whingy.
Yeah.
Thing is, I don't get. It's like, I'm Salah. How can you take me off? It's like, honestly, you weren't playing well. You want to not get subbed off. So much. You want to not get subbed off. Try scoring goals.
Yeah, because Klopp had Jota in his FPL team. Anyway, so the third striker is Watkins, who's playing Wolves at home. And you know what? Watkins has been very frustrating, I think, to managers who own him because he always just looks like he should do stuff and he just never does. And he scores occasionally. But, I mean, realistically, when you look at his tally, it's not great. But you know what? He could show up.
The thing with it is very frustrating for me as a Watkins owner that I got him in a couple of games before he got his 3 assists and no BPs. And I was getting fed up with him because before that game he hadn't really done much, and then he shows up with those 11 points, and then he does nothing for 3 games. I'm like, okay, that was just a flash in the pan. So then I get rid of him, and then he scores like 3 games in a row. It's like, oh, he's so frustrating.
Woody, are you more annoyed about the fact that he got 3 assists and no BPs, or the fact that he scored a hat trick against Liverpool and an assist and only got 2 BPs?
I mean,
that is ridiculous.
It's only because Grealish got like 2 goals and 2 assists, something crazy like that.
I know, but still.
What do you guys think has happened to Barkley? Because apparently Dean Smith is coming out being like, I'm not sure if we're going to keep him long term or what's the story with him, because everyone's looking a shadow of their own selves since Grealish is gone, right?
Yeah,
he had
a bit of a knock, didn't he?
Who?
I reckon there's things that go on behind the scenes that we're not privy to, like how he fits into the dressing room. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like if he's part of the banter or if he just sits in his corner. Yeah, you remember that movie Wedding Crashers? Remember the guy who does the paintings, the brother? I feel like Barkley reminds me of him a bit.
he's like Dean Smith went round his house one time to say how he was, and there he was painting a nude of him.
He's painting nude Dean Smith. Exactly.
I'm not sure that's going to fit in, Ross.
Exactly. You see, and then we wouldn't necessarily know about that nude painting, but Dean Smith would, and then he'd be like, "No, it's too weird."
Mate, maybe he was the Grealish injury leak.
Exactly.
Maybe it was Barker's, because he's
now you're asking the right question.
You know, I'm on loan. I'm only on loan, so I don't really care.
We need to work on our imitations, I think.
No, come on, that was Ross Barkley. 9 out of 10.
It sounded a bit like Cara. I don't know. I suppose it's still Scouser. So
Scouse is a Scouse all day long, mate.
All right, captains, guys.
Right, yeah.
Wait. Before we go into that, I really feel like we should give Eric a little bit of his pleasure, and let's go Vestergaard in for concert and put Vestergaard as first sub. Then at least he's there. At least he's in the team. So, if Lingard or Antonio come up with a knock, I'd do that for you.
Nice.
Would you put him on the team for me?
I mean,
is that too much to ask?
We don't have to do it right now. I mean, we can.
No,
we
I
can
have
do
to.
it. Okay.
Also, just a side note. Arsenal defender?
Oh yeah. That's fair. He did kick and scream about that. But then remember the time when you said that, and then I was like, no, we'll put him in. Oh no, that's right. I wanted to put Tierney in, but because of 0.1 million, because someone else you wanted, we could only afford Bellerin. Bellerin got no points, and Tierney got like 18.
Okay.
Told you.
Remember that week?
I do. All right, all done. Right, captains.
Oi. I see what he's done there.
I put Vestergaard on the pitch. Okay, Vestergaard as first sub.
Vestergaard first sub instead of Konsa. Konsa, I do like you, but I mean, Eric's just going to whinge.
Okay,
now,
so
captain.
No, actually, he'll be more livid if he gets a brace. But yeah.
Right. So this week looks obvious.
It's obvious.
It's going to be leaning towards KDB.
Yeah. It is obvious.
Yeah. I mean, is there a reason not to go KDB? I mean, could Gundo be the no? Okay.
I mean, unless you've got if you've got Mahrez or Sterling or someone like that, an attacking City player.
Have we overlooked Mahrez?
I was thinking that when we were going through it, but he's been playing every game. He's been playing every fight like these last 6 games straight. So I think he'll be in for a rest.
Imagine a triple City mid: Mahrez, Gundo, KDB. Ooh.
No.
I think we could definitely. I mean, I think we're good, but I think we can certainly put that out there as it's not a bad idea.
Yeah.
Mahrez has been informed, but as Alex says, he's been playing a lot. And he sort of comes in and out of the team, doesn't he? But he goes for a run and then he disappears. It wouldn't surprise me in the slightest if Mahrez just did like 10 minutes at the end of every game for the next 3 games and Foden started. Yeah. Wouldn't surprise me.
Yeah,
that's true. Foden hasn't played much, weirdly.
He hasn't played much. No. And he's good. Like,
this Pep rotation is a headache. Yeah.
But what's weird this season, I mean, I can't really remember in previous seasons, but this season definitely, it seems to be in like phases. Like, there's a bit where, it was like Foden was starting. Now it's Mahrez was starting. And, I fully expect, there's a bit where Stones had like three rests on the go. and they put like Walker and Laporte in the middle, you know, and Stonesy was just like, oh, all right, I'm not playing. So it's kind of weird. So yeah, he goes through little fits and starts.
Okay.
That's the only downside of Mahrez.
Okay, so Captain Vestergaard, we all happy with that?
Oh my lord! Why have you Who have you put as our vice captain, Eric?
It's Ingsy, but I didn't choose that. That was automatic. So because I subbed him out. So
you better
we'll give Gundo.
Choose it. Yeah, there you go.
Okay. All right. So Captain KDB, Gundo. Pretty obvious. Now, the one thing that stands out in this team is no Fernandez. Ooh, controversial. I wanted him in. I got outdone by Lingard and Mounts. Okay, so let's see what happens.
And I'm gonna take the hit for that one because and Eric was saying, you know, you have to have him in. You know, you can't not have him. And I say yes, for a team for the season, I agree. Like, you know, you just have him in there because you would never lose the money on the transfer, get rid of him, put it back in. Like that's crazy. But week to week, like we play our team week to week, I just don't think he's going to perform very well against City. Whereas Mount and Lingard, they're in form, the teams are playing well, they've got good fixtures. You know, get it wrong, as you said as well. If United are going to get anything against City, Fernandez will most likely be involved. And but I just think when we have free reign, put in players that we want rather than ones that fill up the budget or whatever, you know.
And on that note, we are going to have to conclude this podcast because it is going over time. So thanks everyone for joining and best luck with this mini double game week. And last thing to mention is we've got a blank game week coming up. So do take note of that when you make your transfers because don't go buying players that aren't going to play in 29.
Which is why Tierney and Lingard would be good ones for that.
That's true. And as well, keep in mind, because they're not mentioned enough, Brighton. Any Brighton player, I think, could be in because Dunk, or I mean, even the strikers. I mean, if you're running low on options for strikers, I don't think they'd be too bad a shout. I mean, they're not great, but they're not.
I've always loved a bit of Pascal Gross, but there you go. We can talk about that next week.
All right. Another quick one as well, just to finish up that like quick punch thrown at the end. Newcastle have got no Almiron, Sam Maximan, or Wilson, and they're playing West Brom at the Hawthorns. So I wouldn't. A West Brom defender wouldn't be a bad shout. Sam Johnston in goal, that'd be a good shout.
Maitland-Niles.
Maitland-Niles, midfielder, defender playing as midfielder. Love that.
Okay, all right. Thanks, everyone. See you next week.
All right. Cheers. Bye-bye.